Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, can you break down the basics and the basis of this lawsuit filed by the DOJ against Apple?
Yeah, it's going to seem nonsensical because it is nonsensical, but I'll try to break down the argument by the Department of Justice. So essentially, what they're saying is Apple has a monopoly on smartphones, which of course doesn't make sense because many of us own Android devices. In fact, Android devices make up about 45% of the marketplace. Second part of the complaint is Apple has a closed ecosystem. You can't install your own apps, and that is harming consumers. Well, Apple does that because they want to make sure that the apps that are on our devices are safe and secure, not riddled with malware or spyware like our laptops sometimes are. And then the DOJ gets into the fight over green bubbles versus blue bubbles. Real good use of Department of Justice's time, and that is anything but anti-competitive. So, in essence, the Department of Justice's argument is, well, people like iPhones, people like their devices, people have competition and choice in the marketplace, but somehow we, the Department of Justice, have decided that it's not good enough and we want to step in.
What to you stood out most about this lawsuit as the announcement did come out?
Yeah, it's basically the lack of consumer harm anywhere in the complaint. The underlying argument is iPhones are expensive. Yeah, they are expensive. They're premium devices. They are some of the most advanced pieces of technology the world has ever seen. So yeah, they do cost a good amount of money. But if they are too expensive, there are many other alternatives that you can choose. It's like complaining that Bose speakers are too expensive. Well, yeah, that's a premium product and you're going to pay a premium price. So what is missing is the consumer harm in the complaint. The only people the Department of Justice seems to be worried about are gigantic corporations like Epic or Microsoft that seem to have issues with Apple, not consumers who clearly don't.
Why now? That's a question that I've heard asked time and time again. Any idea why the DOJ is doing this suit against Apple now?
So I think it's twofold. The first is they're kind of seeing the writing on the wall. They're seeing that President Trump may be the next president, and they want to tie this anchor to Apple before they are sent packing in the election. And essentially, this is going to be a multi-year process. So whatever they tie down Apple with now will last years and years and years, well past the Biden administration. The second is they have another case that is a slam dunk against Ticketmaster, a clear monopoly, a clear consumer harm. And they want to get this case out first because they want the attention focused on it, and then they can bring in their Ticketmaster case. So that's kind of why they've got a case ready to go that everyone's going to get behind, but they wanted to take the splashy title and the big title of this case against Apple.
And I think I know what you're going to say, but based on your experience, does the DOJ actually have a case here?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of guessed where I'm going to go with this. Absolutely not. It doesn't pass the smell test. One of the arguments that they have is Apple has a monopoly on cloud gaming. Well, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, just said that Microsoft has a monopoly on cloud gaming. Well, which is it? Who's got the monopoly? They can't even keep their monopoly straight. So they've yet to prove consumer harm, market power, abuse of power, and anything that actually would result in a benefit for Americans.
How could this potentially impact Apple customers? Could the outcome have any sort of real impact on people who use Apple devices?
So that's what really scares me the most. One of the things that we all love about Apple is it just works, right? You open the phone, it's got a camera, it's got a flashlight, it's got maps, it's got Safari, it's got mail. Well, the thing in the complaint is it shouldn't start with any of those, according to the Department of Justice. In fact, once upon a time, we didn't have flashlight functionality built into our iPhones. You had to download an app and pay for it. And it seems like the Department of Justice wants to return us to that era. Simultaneously, the Department of Justice wants to inject problems with security into our iPhones. They want to allow anyone and everyone to install apps, upload apps, and have access to key security functionality features, which can clearly be exploited. That's what really scares me as an American and as a user of these devices.
Have we ever seen a lawsuit like this one by the DOJ?
You know, the Department of Justice is throwing up Hail Marys just like the Biden Federal Trade Commission is as well. We saw a similar suit against Google saying, guess what? Your search engine is too good. You need to break it. We've seen similar cases against X by the Federal Trade Commission saying, you're letting on content that we don't like. You saw cases from the Federal Trade Commission against Amazon saying that people like Amazon too much and prices are too low, and that's bad. So this is part of a constant drumbeat we're seeing from this administration on a war on American businesses that are successful. Once upon a time, it used to be anyone in America can make it, but under this administration, it's anyone in America can make it so long as you don't make too much.
What happens next as this lawsuit does progress? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a multi-year process for the courts. And that's kind of one of the things that's also really scary. Anytime Apple creates a new innovation, anytime they create a new feature or functionality that we all want or love, that will actually be weaponized against Apple as more evidence of just how too powerful they are. So that will really slow innovation over the next couple of years as Apple goes through the courts, tries to get this thing dismissed, and hopefully under a new administration, the Department of Justice realizes that this is not only a loser lawsuit on the merits, it is a loser lawsuit on policy and what is best for Americans.
All right, Carl Szabo, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and help break all of this down. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Yeah, at the end of the day, the market is highly competitive. If we don't like our Apple devices, we go use Android. And that's why these phones and features are being pushed out all the time. We're constantly getting updates with new functionality because the competition is fierce. And that's what the Department of Justice seems to completely miss in this complaint. At the end of the day, what would help lower prices is less regulation and less taxes.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to be here with us and break down a very complicated and involved subject. We appreciate it.